The Islamist-led assembly in Egypt has approved a draft of the country's new constitution after a marathon session that finished in the early hours of this morning. The assembly voted in favour of all 234 articles. The document must now be ratified by President Mohamed Morsi before being put to a popular vote.
Already angered by the president's decree granting himself greater powers, Egyptians in Tahrir Square now have another reason to protest.
The government and Morsi should leave. The only demand for revolutionaries is to topple Mohamed Morsi, because he has not achieved the demands and targets of the revolution. There is no freedom, justice, or even bread. He has achieved nothing.
Opponents say the charter has been hijacked by an assembly dominated by Morsi's conservative allies. Demonstrators are concerned that the rights of minorities, such as Christians and secularists, will be restricted. The draft constitution was initially going to be put to a referendum in February, but after the Constitutional Court said it would rule on whether to dissolve the assembly, voting began on Thursday.
As the National Salvation Front has announced, we are taking a clear and final position against the Constitutional Assembly, which has sacrificed its political and moral legitimacy and warned by its tendencies that it would impose a constitution for only one party without any national consensus.
Mr. Morsi appeared on TV Thursday to dismiss fears the Constitution will give him wide-ranging powers.
There is no room to speak of dictatorship. As an Egyptian, I have suffered a lot of the lack of democracy, absence of democracy, of dictatorship, and of corruption in my land. And this dictatorship that you're talking about does not exist.
Egypt's Islamist-led assembly is expected to finalise the new post-revolution constitution later today, including measures keeping Sharia law as the main source of legislation. If adopted, it could pave the way for a referendum as soon as mid-December. But Morsi's opponents insist the new constitution has been hijacked by the Muslim Brotherhood and is being rushed through. An alliance of opposition groups plan to hold further protests in Cairo's Tahrir Square and have said broader civil disobedience is possible. Authorities have built 3 new walls in the centre of the Egyptian capital in a bid to curb the anti-government protests, which have killed 2 and injured hundreds.
Opponents, including secular groups, say the committee is rushing to have the draft approved without a full debate. They also say the panel is dominated by Muslims, including members of Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood. The opponents are calling for rallies on Friday in Cairo and elsewhere.